Hello students. So in the last lecture we have seen about the multi-level queue, that is the CPU scheduling algorithm, and also we have seen that multi-level feedback queue CPU scheduling algorithm. Let's move on to an example of multi-level feedback queue that can be seen using this figure. Here what is this, that we are using a round robin since there is a time quantum, and here is also a time quantum. We are using round robin, and in this one we are using FCFS, that is first come first serve. तो यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, let's first of all see the theoretical part. So in general, a multi-level feedback queue scheduler is defined by the following parameters: the number of queues, the scheduling algorithm of each queue, the method used to determine when to upgrade a process to a higher priority queue, and the method used to determine when to demote a process to a lower priority queue. So we have seen how to prevent starvation using the property of aging. So these 2 points, the point number 3 and point number 4, belongs to the same process of aging and starvation, and the method used to determine which queue a process will enter when the process needs service. Okay, so the definition of a multi-level feedback queue scheduler makes it the most general CPU scheduling algorithm, and it can be configured to match a specific system under design. And it also requires some means of selecting values for all the parameters to define the best scheduler. And although a multi-level feedback queue is the most general scheme and it is used most complex. So यहाँ पे एक बार बतला दे रहे हैं कि क्या होता है यहाँ पे. when the process enters the CPU, and here this is a round robin schedule, and if it gets exit, then it moves to the terminated state, and if not, then it sends a feedback to the next process. तो यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, फीडबैक एक वी कैन से दैट a mechanism of feedback sending is also been implemented. So this is the multi-level feedback queue. So let's move on to the comparison of different scheduling algorithms, the advantages and disadvantages of all the algorithms which we have studied till now. So by now we have understood that how CPU can apply different scheduling algorithms to schedule processes, and let us examine the advantages and disadvantages of each of these scheduling algorithms which we have studied so far. So the first one was first come first serve CPU scheduling algorithm. So the advantages of FCFS is that FCFS algorithm does not include any complex logic. It just puts the process request in a queue and executes it one by one. तो उसमें क्या होता है कि एक प्रोसेस आता है, one by one it gets its CPU time. So hence FCFS is pretty simple and easy to implement. So it is simple and easy to implement, and every process will get a chance to run. So there is no starvation, and it does not occur. So there is no process of aging. Also there are some disadvantages of these FCFS. There is no option for preemption of a process. That means अगर कि बहुत छोटा छोटा processes है मेरे पास, and if a process having a very large CPU burst time enters the CPU, तो क्या होता है कि मेरे पास we are while the process which is having large CPU time is running in the CPU, और बहुत सारे छोटे छोटे process को wait करना पड़ता है. So there is no preemption, and if a process started, then CPU executes the process until it ends. And because there is no preemption, if a process executes for a long time, the process in the back of the queue will have to wait for a long time before they get a chance to be executed. So this is the thing which I have told you. The second one is shortest job first. So the advantages of shortest job first are that short processes are executed first and then followed by the longer process. यहाँ पे जो सबसे छोटा process होता है that gets the CPU first, and the throughput is increased because more processes can be executed in less amount of time. तो throughput क्या होता है, throughput is the number of process processed in a particular unit of time. तो यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है कि जब हम छोटे छोटे process को run करवाते हैं, so that increases the CPU that increases the throughput, and it also decreases the waiting time. So the disadvantage of shortest job first is the time taken by a process must be known by the CPU beforehand, which is not possible. तो कहीं कहीं पे ऐसा होता है कि the process does not have the time limit or the knowledge of the time that how long the process will continue. So in this shortage job first क्या होता है कि this is not possible, and so this is an advantage. So longer processes will have more waiting time, eventually they will suffer starvation. तो यहाँ पे स्टारवेशन होता है, दैट मीन्स जब छोटे छोटे जॉब को हम CPU देते हैं, तो अगर कोई एक बड़ा जॉब आ जाता है तो इट हैज़ टू वेट फॉर अ लॉन्गर टाइम. And preemptive shortage job for scheduling will have the same advantages and disadvantages as those of the SJF. So preemptive and non-preemptive SJF are both same. So the next one is round robin. In this we also have the time quantum, and each process is served by CPU for a fixed quantum, so all processes get the same priority, and starvation does not occur because for each round robin cycle every process is given a fixed time to execute, so no process is being left behind. तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है, एक छोटे छोटे इंटरवल के बाद सभी प्रोसेस को CPU शेयर करने का टाइम मिलता है. सो दैट मीन्स देयर इज़ नो केस ऑफ एनी स्टारवेशन, and these are the disadvantages of round robin system. The throughput in round robin largely depends on the choice of the length of the time quantum, and if the time quantum is longer than needed, it tends to exhibit the same behavior as FCFS, and if time quantum is shorter than needed, the number of times that the CPU switches from one process to another increases. This leads to decrease in CPU efficiency. तो we have to make the time quantum बहुत efficient बनाना होगा कि ना बहुत ज़्यादा ना बहुत कम. So if the time quantum is very much large or very much long, तो क्या होता है उस केस में the algorithm behaves like FCFS, first come first serve. अब बहुत छोटे होने पर क्या होता है कि CPU का जो context switching होता है that increases. So this is the next CPU scheduling algorithm, that is priority based scheduling, and the advantages are the priority of a process can be selected based on memory requirement, time requirement, or user preferences. So for example, a high-end game will have better graphics. That means the process which updates the screen in a game will have higher priority so as to achieve better graphics performance. So while using game, the graphics will be more used. And the disadvantages of priority based scheduling is that a second scheduling algorithm is required to schedule the process which have same priority. तो यहाँ पे हम लोग क्या देखे थे कि अगर सेम प्रायोरिटी होता है तो वी यूज़ द FCFS, फर्स्ट कम फर्स्ट सर्व. तो जब भी सेम CPU सेम प्रायोरिटी होता है तो वी यूज़ द सेकेंड प्रायोरिटी एल्गोरिथम. सो इन प्रीएम्प्टिव प्रायोरिटी शेड्यूलिंग, a higher priority process can execute ahead of an already executing lower priority process, and if lower priority process keeps waiting for higher priority process, starvation occurs. तो preemptive में क्या होता है कि अगर एक higher priority process है, it has to wait for the lower priority process, and if lower priority process keeps waiting for higher priority process, तो starvation occurs. That means कि अगर कोई ज़्यादा प्रायोरिटी वाला पहले से काम कर रहा है और एक lower priority job is waiting, so in that case starvation is resulted. So some useful facts about scheduling algorithm. This is very important. So FCFS can cause long waiting time, especially when the first job takes too much time. Okay, so both SJF and SJF SRTF, that is the preemptive and non-preemptive SJF, may cause starvation. And consider a situation when the long process is there in the ready queue and the short processes keep coming. So if time quantum for round robin is very large, then it behaves same as FCFS, and SJF is optimal in terms of average waiting time for a given set of process, that is average waiting time is minimum with this scheduling. But problems are how to know or predict the time of the next job. So these are some of the key points that everyone should remember while solving this CPU scheduling. So that's all for this unit. We will start next unit from the next lecture. Thank you.